Hello. Mic check one, two, three. Hello. Hello. Good. 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 So what I'm going to do today is let's mark the chart. Let's first we're going to draw the opening range gap. The opening range gap from the previous day's close. That would be the Friday. Friday closed and we opened on Monday right around this point. This is the first area of interest. We are going to drag this box till 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. Yes. The next thing is to draw a fair value point. 530.77, 530.77, 77, 530.49, 530.49. Going to draw this as black. This is the second area of interest. Right at this point, we're going to mark these points till 11 o'clock, not 11:30, right? 11 o'clock. The next thing is हम लोग करेंगे डेली का डेली का डेली का डेली का डेली का हाई डेली का लो लोन Friday's high and the Friday's low. Going back to 5 minutes. So it's the high. We will stay high, black, and previous day low. Previous day low. तो आज मंडे है सो दैट विल बी द ओपनिंग ऑफ द वीक राइट आज के सेशन के स्टार्ट में हाँ पता है वीक last thing would be to draw the previous week's high and previous week's low previous week's high, previous week's high, previous week low. Titles, let's pivot points off कर देते हैं. Come back to 5 minutes time frame. First leg, second leg, and the third leg. Hello, Eric. How are you, brother? Long time, long time. Ah, no, I did. I cannot die. Hello, brothers and sisters. Hello, ladies and gentles. Okay, so we are right around the 18th bar of the day. If you have studied L groups for some time, you know what I'm talking about. So, in L Brooks, he usually says that around the bar 18, we like there's an 80% chance we already have the high or the low of the day. So that's why I'm referring to the bar 18th and 11 o'clock New York time to be very specific. Why I got busy with doing other stuff, so I was not trading that much. Not scalping, I was taking swing trades, so I thought, okay, it's very hard for me to record swing trades in live stream, so that's why I don't come live very often. Eric, did you sold the XRP? You're holding quite a big position, remember? Hmm. 21 971, 21 971, 791, 21 791. No, 777, Let's just draw the unwalk. Okay. You can extend it to the next week. The unwalks are always, or the gaps are always drawn with this color. Move back 15 minutes. 8:45, 9 o'clock, 9:15, 9:30. It opened here. Just for reference, I'm going to mark this line also. Okay. So we tested back to the previous day's high, the Friday's high, and we are coming back down from this point. Okay. So one thing which catches my eye, like this point, 10 o'clock, the low of 10 o'clock, we have an imbalance around this point at 10 o'clock. So this imbalance also based on the higher time frame, not in this, on the Globex time frame. 4 hours, you can see that we do not have a wick, so that is considered as an imbalance. So I'm going to keeping an eye on this point. 15 minutes. So we have the bar 18th. So there's an 80% chance that we have the high or the low of the day. Okay. So if I were to frame a trade, I would be framing this trade, keeping that in mind. Yes. 9:30. Let's be this. 29,744. For reference, this is a Globex chart, and this is regular trading hours. This is QQQ on a 5 minutes time frame, and we are using 15 minutes on the Globex chart. Since we are in an overall trading range, hey, can we please have a check? Tell me what time you start on. Yes. I believe Jacob must be here for Western knowledge. So, at least, now, you call that number if you could use now if you call. Yeah. The number would be 216 214 200 170. On an hourly time frame in the regular trading hours, you can see that you're not getting a strong closing above the previous wicks, and the bulls who got long around this point are getting out at break even. Who got long and scaled in around this point are getting out at some profit and break even at the original entry. It's overall always in long, but I'm looking for scalps, taking always in long criteria. This was the opening. First leg, second leg. We are trying to make up the third leg, but it's risky. Risky. To keep this in mind, we have this was the 11th hour, 11 o'clock. We already have the high or the low of the day. What are the odds that we are going to come back all the way down towards this point before coming or touching this point? Okay, odds are very low. So I think that this high will be retested, and this point is the low of the day. But there's a problem with this basic narrative that we have an imbalance right around this point at 10 o'clock. So the ideal case would be to take scalps around in this case because we are in an overall trading range, but it's not ideal to take swing trades in this environment. 5 minutes till this 15 minutes about to close. 19th bar of the day. Breakout, pullback, continuation. This is a high one buy. This is a high one buy on a higher time frame. So not very good probability. We might make another leg around this point before breaking towards the upside. People who got long around this point, it was not a very ideal buy, but still, some people who got long around this point and scaled in below this bar or below this bar are probably making money right around 50% of this point. And when the price will come and retest this point, they'll get out at break even or they'll get out at break even around this point. So if I would have bought below this bar, I would have made money, right? Next would be if limit order. No, no limit order. Stop order. Stop order. Limit order. Limit order. Limit order. Limit order. Or buy the close, buy the close, buy the close. Probably was also buy the close because we were above the moving average and the VWAP. Buy the close, buy the close, buy the close. This was a limit order trade, right? So this was also a buy the close. If you follow along this logic, this was also the buy the close. So overall, the narrative is we are in an overall trading range. As long as we are above this point, I'm not allowed to sell this. Okay. And where is the best place for me to buy it? right? So this is the first leg and the high went by. This is going to probably going to fail. We are going to test it one more time, making two legs. Then I can, in a signal bar, I can enter again. Okay. The people who got long around this point or below this bar as a limit order bull got out at break even. So that's why we can see that this bar is retracing the moment we are reaching this point. Okay. We'll see the same effect if we reach this point again. Okay. If I would have bought around this point and bought some more around this point, would have made money, right? So it's transitioning into a trading range. Okay. This is a very high probability that we are going to close this gap. Hello. ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है गॉट इट ओके नहीं अभी तो कुछ भी नहीं मैं रोज से पूछता हूँ ओके 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 so the gap got closed. This was the first leg. We tried to make another second leg, but still that would not make anything different. We are still always in long. So we retested the previous day highs, the previous day or the Friday's high, close this gap. We are transitioning into a trading range, but still I'm not allowed to go long as we are above this overall box. Okay, so what I'm basically looking for, if we come below this point, making a third leg or a second leg, something like this. You can argue that this is the first leg, second leg, or the third leg, or this can be the first leg or the second leg in a trading range. So also keep this in mind that after 11 o'clock, we have a high and the low. Okay. After 1.5 hour into the market open, we have this low and this high. There's an 80% chance that we already have the high or the low of the day. So the market will probably break towards one side and not come back to this point again, or break towards the downside and not touch the upside again. Okay. So keep this in mind while framing a trade. I'm more as we are above this 15 minutes range and above the VWAP, above the moving average. You can use any moving average, small time frame, 20 period moving average. So it's going to be around this point. Okay. As long as we are above these criterias, I'm generally looking for longs. So can I go long around this point? No. I need a strong signal bar at the right context. Okay. And what is the flaw in this overall criteria? The only flaw in this overall criteria is this point. You see this 10 o'clock. If you go to the 4 hours time frame, the moment 10 o'clock opened, it never like when even a tick down and move straight up. So on a 4 hours time frame, we have an inefficiency. On an hourly, we do have that inefficiency. So just keep an eye on. Okay. First leg, second leg, I need a strong signal bar for me to be interested in longs again. Okay. So this can be an overall trading range. I would not interested in selling this low. Okay. I need at least a lower high. You can argue that this is a lower high, but no, 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 it's not. Okay. One second leg retest. It closed below this point. Let's move to the 15 minutes time frame. Okay. You see this point. First leg, second leg, third leg. Okay. And we are testing this gap. We came very close to testing this gap, like 2 or 3 points, 93 to 92.7. Point a tick or two. Okay. We might probably close this gap. If you understand what I'm referring to as a gap is the high of the previous, or you can understand it through the fair value gap, right? Basically the same thing. You see this gap. We might even close this gap. Still wouldn't change anything. Okay. Price can easily bounce around this point. Move to the 5 minutes. The 5 minutes. 797, 784, 797, 784, 80. I'll only take a short if we move below this point, below this whole, this black line is the opening of the day, opening of the current session. So we have a lot of areas of interest from this point to the open. We are retesting this area of interest. Let's see how the price reacts to it. Okay. Okay. Around bar 22. Within next two bars, the first hours will close. Hmm. We closed below this low, okay, on the 15 minutes. If within the next 6 minutes, if we stay below this low, then the probability would come back to 50-50 again. On a 1 minute time frame, this can be a wedge bottom. So be careful shorting this. Here. One step, one leg, the second leg. This is a 1 minute time frame. Just keep this in mind. Okay. The next 5 minutes is about to close in 10 seconds. Then it will be the last 5 minutes of the first 2 hours. Right. We closed above the previous bar high. Can easily come. Can easily come back. As I'm not shorting it, I was looking for the market to bounce around some point or the areas of interest. So we now are at the area of interest. I'm looking for a signal bar, but I need this strong signal bar with a follow through. If I buy it right around here, my risk would be low, but the probability would also be low, right? So I'm gonna wait the next 3 minutes and see how this 2 hours will conclude. Okay, the first, let's come back to the hourly time frame. We had a gap on the hourly time frame. The market closed this gap. This closing the gap is an indication of a ranging market. So the market can easily come back, like it's making a megaphone pattern. It can easily come back towards this point, but as long as it's above this point, I'm not allowed to go short. I'm reading the tip and taking scouts. We are below the moving average, the 20 period moving average. If you plot a 20 period moving average, we are below that point. The price is around 531.17, somewhere around this high. So I'll only be interested in taking a long once we move above 531. That's the criteria as of now. Okay, so check this out. If I draw the high and the low, we are right around 50% of the day's range. This was the high, this is the low. We are at the 50% of the day's range. Okay, I can expect some sort of a bounce around this point, and ideal would be if we move above the moving average. So let's mark this 5 minutes high, temporary. So we're not giving, the market is not giving a closing below this area of interest, nor is it going a close below the VWAP. So that's pretty interesting. Okay, what time is it? It's 11:30, right? So the first 2 hours has closed. So I will treat this the third hour as the open. Okay, this is the first. This is the first candle. Okay. We close this gap. There's a very high probability that we are going to close this gap also. So that is 21,813.3. But I need some good follow through. Good follow through. This is the tight bear channel, a tight bear trend that evolved into a channel that evolved into a trading range, in a minor trading range. So it's a minor trading range. Okay, the whole complete market cycle. This was the tight bear channel, tight bear trend that evolved into a channel, one, two, three, nested channel within the larger channel, one, two, and three. Okay. So I was expecting some sort of volatility around the second hour close. We got that, but this is going to be treated as the first candle of the market. So the 9:30 opening. Okay. So if I think of the second hour close as the 9:30 opening, I can generally assume that this is not going to be the high or the low of the day. So we're going to retest this point probably before going up, or we are going to retest this high before going down. That's a general statement, but it's a good way to think about it. Back to the 5 minutes. जी जी। आ गया आ गया आ गया आ गया। We retested this high. Retest of the high of the 11:30 candle. Close this gap. Huh? Call? हाँ, फ्री? हाँ, कितने बहुत एक्सपेंसिव बेबी। Okay. चलिए होना है तुझे। Oh, we have closed the gap. ठीक है ठीक है। You've closed the 15 minutes gap, but still, I need some more good follow through. So back to the 1 minute time frame. We retested the high of the 11:30. We probably might retest this low before going up. Which is paper, darling. Okay, sir. Nice. Nice. I just need a close. हाँ खजल का है हो गया बढ़नी पड़ेगी नोटिफिकेशन की बढ़ता है यहाँ पे 6,500 रुपया दिया था तो लाभ यार कितने ग्राम आ जाती थी 7.5 ग्राम में 7.5 ट्रू 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 माल इसका है 35 ग्राम में 2-3 रोटियां बनती है मतलब 3 रोटियां 1 ग्राम में 3 रोटियां बनती हैं 700 की एक रोटी ऑलमोस्ट मुझे 1 मिनट दे you'll probably retest the low of the 11:30 opening. If not, I'm still more bullish than bearish. I'm targeting somewhere around this point. The wrong idea. Generally, this is what I'm thinking. It's a rough trade idea. It's a rough trade idea. We once we retest this point, my risk would be reduced to nothing, really. Okay. So that's what I'm generally thinking. The first leg, second leg, and the third leg. This was will be the last. Hopefully, hopefully, we're still below the moving average. Not the ideal, but I would be more interested in buying it right around this point. Again, if we move above or break around above this point, 531.13. Something like this. Mm, yeah. सब्जी मेरा पैंतीस बार ओवर क्लीन रूम से मैंने क्या मतलब आप लोगों के साथ फिर उसी की बात मुझे तो किधर हुआ मैं उसकी की बात इसको मैं वो नहीं मिल रहा क्या वेट भी नहीं मिल वो तो कोई पता क्या बोले कि रेट हमें देना तो 23 से 25 पर उन्होंने क्या कहा और पिछला सारा कहता फिल्म देखा आपको क्या सुना जाता है मैंने उसको बोला मैं कहता हूँ यार एक बस इतने क्यों रहते हो नहीं तो बहुत आप लोग है तुमको करना तुमको क्या वो अरे यार नया फोन है वो कोई बात नहीं जाएगा मैंने वो मिल जाएगा बना के आपको राइट आज को नहीं बच्चा अब बच्चा है आज को नहीं तो लोग सुनते जो मैं इतना लंबा टाइम कुछ ऑफिस में से अगर मुझे उठा रहा हूँ वो बापे लाइट आता तुम दिमाग में आती है होगा ऐसा कोल्ड टर्की क्यों कर बैठे मैं मारो एक भाई sorry क्या होगा बैटरी फुल गया है एक और उसकी सब इसमें बहुत ये बता रहा है ये तो कि हाँ पूरा ये भी है अंडरस्टैंडिंग है तुम्हें ये तो कि 30 है स्टडी सप्लाई की मेरे चल मैंने बस वो अपने स्टैट्स में नाम लिया था मतलब लोगों को हौसले से भगाया था कि स्कोर बोर्ड पे डायरेक्ट हाँ अच्छा सेकंड में ये मैं बोल रहा मैंने भी करा था आज कुछ दो ये भी वाले दो वो यार फिर स्कोर करा है कहाँ से फिर मैं जीरो भी चली है जीरो भी कहूँगा तो करवा दे शर्टे का कोई भी नहीं है मैं उसके नंबर 3 में इसका देगा क्या नाम है तो यही नाम होगा नहीं मैं करा सकता हूँ स्कोर अभी कराने मैं सच बोल रहा हूँ कराना आज जुलाई किसी से उसके लिए थोड़ा सा जो अपना बताना पड़ेगा क्या माँ मेरे को कॉल करके पड़े मैं कहा था चले जाओ छान गए हैं बहुत कहा इधर से तुम कहा कोई मेरा अपना मामा यार मुझे पता है इधर से कहाँ निकल गया वो पता नहीं कहता था कभी कराने तो मैंने तो बोला था तो बोला 2 दिन पहले बताया करो उनको छोड़ रहा हूँ कल अब क्या हो गया और ऑलरेडी तो आपकी 3 जगह है जो क्या मतलब है यार डायरी में नहीं 10 मतलब ना क्या इतनी मैच टारगेट पूरा होना कह रहा है, आपको पहले घंटे में 0 कॉल्स की 6 से 7 रेडी दूसरा फ्री हो गया शॉपिंग वॉपिंग करके ना।
क्या कहता है? बहुत शुक्रिया मेरी औकात का बताने के लिए। खुश रहो आप, आपके पैसे मैं भेज दूंगा 11,500 को।
वो चोर आदमी तू नहीं भेजेगा, तू ना भेजेगा।
इसी अच्छा बात ही कोई ना। ठीक हो गया ब्रो, मेरे इसी पैसा मुझे जब भी हुए ट्रांसफर कर देना बस। नहीं चाहिए। मैं नहीं, आज बस नहीं भेज।
नहीं तो जब तो तुम मतलब ऐसी कौन सी जरूरत है कि जो खर्च कर उसके पास है ना भाई तो पैसे सलवार मार बैठे ऐसे थोड़ी होता है, पूरे आदमी को सुंदर पैसे की बात नहीं होते बस हर करते हैं ना।
पाँच हजार में
तो बोलो भैया कर दे रही है तो
कुछ रहोगे तो छुट्टी है बच्चा 65 मेरे साथ शर्ट नहीं करता है।
say my name yes do it कॉफी भी नहीं
ओ यार बीट पे सुनाने से
नहीं
आता तो फिर
और नहीं पी
कहाँ
रहे
से उठाएं?
मैं नहीं पी रहे
नहीं नहीं ऐसा हो नहीं सकता ब्रो।
मम्मी ने एक दफा
नो
धोखा
दैट्स नॉट पॉसिबल, आज मैं सोबर नहीं बैठ रहा।
नहीं
नहीं
बात वो नहीं है बात सिर्फ इतनी है इस वक्त कि हम किसी को पैसे नहीं दे रहे एक रुपया नहीं दे रहे किसी को भी नहीं दे रहे
तो उसको मैं क्या करूँ, आप उठा लो मैं आपको आगे कैश पकड़ा दूंगा, वो मुझे कहेगा बहुत महंगे नहीं कर सकते।
मैं बिल्कुल नहीं
दोस्त तो
कर
नहीं है
सकता
ना मेरा।
उसको बोलो भाई कैश इन हैंड क्या है बोलो हैंड टू हैंड देंगे ना उसको भी पता है जो कि उसको पता है कि तू दोस्त नहीं है वो ऐसे रिक्वेस्ट नहीं कर सकता because he has no reason to trust you neither do you
बस ठीक है यार, इसका आपको जान।
नहीं करता We have an inefficiency around 1150. चाय पिएगा? हाँ? बताओ बाद में पीता हूँ। बाद में क्यों पीता है? क्यों? बाद में करते हैं बाद में। लाइक ओके। Uh, okay, boys. I'm out. I'm out.